Fred Pickering, lavish signing who epitomised Everton's Mersey Millionaires but always remained humble. His Goodison Park career started brightly yet ended with disappointment, but there's no denying that Fred Pickering was a centre-forward in the classic Everton mould. Having been fortunate enough to meet Fred at Gwladys Street Hall of Fame dinners at the Adelphi Hotel, I can attest that the quietly spoken Lancastrian was one of football's gentlemen, and by then with his silver hair and glasses he cut a rather different kind of figure to the hulking powerhouse who once terrorized the game's leading defenses. Given the crushing disappointment he suffered during his Blues career, Pickering could have been forgiven for shying away from such functions, but he remained very much part of the Everton family and would attend to meet up with old teammates and speak to the fans, many of whom were too young to have watched him play, in his humble, down-to-earth manner. Many years earlier, Pickering had been the lavish signing who epitomised John Moores Mersey Millionaires and their zenith. Everton were reigning league champions when they paid a £85,000 fee, a record at the time between two British clubs, to prize Pickering from hometown team Blackburn Rovers in March 1964. The Blues were bidding to retain their title, and their new boy started with a bang, netting a hat-trick on his debut in a 6-1 mauling of Nottingham Forest at Goodison Park. In total, Pickering would net 9 goals in just 9 games as the season finished, but Harry Catterick's side would ultimately finish third, with Liverpool claiming their first league championship under Bill Shankly. The following campaign would see Pickering smash in 37 goals for Everton in 51 matches, but again silverware eluded them. His greatest disappointment came when he was left out by Catterick for the 1966 FA Cup final. A cartilage problem had become increasingly painful, and despite having scored in each of the previous rounds, Pickering was forced to miss the 1-0 victory over Manchester United in the semi-final. Although he declared himself fit for Wembley, Pickering was not selected by his manager, who instead chose to stick with understudy Mike Trebilock, a fringe player whose Everton career would ultimately consist of just 14 games. Catterick's choice was vindicated as Cornishman Trebilcock bagged a brace in the Blues' 3-2 comeback victory over Sheffield Wednesday, while a besuited Pickering was forced to watch from the sidelines, much like England's Jimmy Greaves at Wembley later that year when Geoff Hurst netted a hat-trick against West Germany in the World Cup final. From then on, Pickering's days at Everton seemed numbered, especially with youthful homegrown prospect Joe Royle emerging, and 15 months after the final he was sold to Birmingham City for £50,000. He would later return to the northwest with Blackpool and had a second spell at Blackburn before hanging up his boots aged just 30 in 1971. Pickering's brief international career is also noteworthy. Winning 3 caps for England, he nevertheless scored 5 goals for his country. Just as he did for Everton, he rattled in a hat-trick on his Three Lions bow in a 10-0 demolition job against the USA at Downing Stadium, Randalls Island, New York City on May 27, 1964. He also scored on both of his other international appearances, which were a 4-3 win over Northern Ireland at Belfast's Windsor Park on October 3, 1964, and a 2-2 draw with Belgium at Wembley on October 21, 1964. Writing in his book Everton, Player by Player, Ivan Ponding says of Pickering, "At his rampaging best, Fred was an irresistible performer. Though neither outstanding in the air, nor overly physical for a man of his power, not even particularly fast, he could disrupt the tightest of defenses with his determined running and a savage right foot shot that earned him the nickname of Boomer. Boasting nimble footwork for one so burly, he could nutmeg opponents as comprehensively as many a winger. He was especially dangerous when cutting in from the flank, a maneuver that yielded some of his most spectacular goals." In total, Pickering scored 70 times in 115 matches for Everton, an average of a goal every 1.6 games. Such numbers are pretty impressive for a failed left-back who was converted to centre-forward by Blackburn boss Jack Marshall in what proved to be an inspired gamble. Oh, how Marco Silva could do with a frontman as prolific as that now. Fred Pickering, born January 19, 1941. Died February 9, 2019.